This is Tin Caps Baseball on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Tin Caps on Deck continues on prior to this Thursday night matchup from Veterans Memorial Stadium between your Fort Wayne Tin Caps and the Cedar Rapids Colonels. Andy Ockham, the third base dugout here with our pregame guest, and Jonathan Vastine. Johnny, your second home run of the season on Tuesday. What were you sitting on? What did you see?
So it was 1-2 count, and he had been spinning all of us the entire time. It was changeup slider, which is a kind of a reoccurring theme here with this team we're playing against. So I was kind of looking for something up. Got a changeup in the heart of the zone, and just put a good swing on it. I knew with the wind blowing the way it was, if I got in the jet stream, it would kind of take off. So it was a good feeling to have.
And dating back to last week's series against Beloit, you got a hit in 4 of your last 5 games. In this short little sample size, what's been the feeling for you in the box? What's felt right for you?
Just getting comfortable, getting back in the swing of things. Obviously, kind of starting off a lot slower than I wanted to, but kind of as the playing time has ramped up, playing a lot more, seeing a lot more pitches, just getting more comfortable. I think it's just, you're starting to see the good at-bats turn into some results, and, being process-oriented is kind of just what I'm doing going forward.
Yeah, being a draft pick of the Padres last year, you joined us for the final month plus of the season to round things out. Then you had your first full offseason as a pro ball player. What was that like? What did you learn about yourself, and what did you kind of do to unplug and get away from the ball field a bit after having a very long season at Vanderbilt?
Yeah, it was interesting. It was a lot of listening to a lot of the guys who had been in the org for a little bit, trying to decide, how I wanted to navigate, my off season and all that stuff, and getting away from baseball a little bit and refreshing, and then, starting up the strength training and all that stuff. But it was kind of hard not to just, pick up the bat and hit all the time and, throw all the time. So I kind of just paced myself and, working with all the other guys that I talked to that were training at Vanderbilt and the guys here with the Padres, they kind of helped me figure out what I wanted to do.
Any big hobbies away from the training room and then from the weight room in the off season?
No, I really just focused on I just ate. My wife just made a bunch of food, and I enjoyed all the food, and we kind of just worked on different meals. Almost that was kind of the thing, and then I kind of just, we just hung out, watched YouTube, watched Netflix, all that kind of stuff.
Looking at yourself defensively, you had played 60-plus games at short at Vandy your final 2 seasons, and this season that's mainly been your spot here with Fort Wayne. You bounced around to a couple other positions in a couple other games, but nothing crazy other than that. How do you attribute that to your versatility, being able to bounce around a bit?
Yeah, I think it started my freshman year at Vanderbilt. I came in just as a primary shortstop, like I told, the coaches when they recruited me and all that stuff. And then once I got to campus, they were like, yeah, we don't recruit just shortstops. We recruit infielders. We recruit baseball players. So from then on, I played third, short, second. I even played first base a few times. So I kind of just, that allows me to have a job for a lot longer, being able to play wherever I want, wherever I need to be for the team. If they want to put me in the outfield, I'll go do that. But, just having the versatility is kind of something, I value a lot.
You mentioned getting thrown into the fire a bit last year, finishing out the season here in Fort Wayne, getting your first taste of professional baseball. We're now a month plus into the season here in the spring. How do you feel like you've settled into life in professional baseball?
I enjoy it. It's a lot of, it's similar to summer ball when you go off from college and you play summer ball and you play a consistent 40, 50 games or however many games you get to play in the Cape or the Northwoods League or whatever. So it's kind of very similar to that, honestly, and just a lot of fun with a good group of guys, good group of coaches, and just a nice little family we've made here.
And talking about this group, the team, whether it's out at batting practice, you guys are in the clubhouse, you seem like a tight group, and you're one of the more outspoken, outgoing guys on this team. Do you kind of take it upon yourself to just kind of poke fun and let things be loose with this group when you guys aren't on the field?
Of course. The biggest thing is this is a long season, and, we can't hold on to the losses. We can't hold on to the wins for too long. We just kind of be ourselves. This group is full of a lot of personality, and we have a lot of humility with what we do. So it's like, I'm gonna mess around with you if you have a bad game, and you could mess around with me the same way. It's kind of just poke fun, and we learn from each other, and it's just it's a good group of guys.
Looking at yourself in the box, and I talked to Zach Evans about this last week, and you guys have Jerry Downs, a really knowledgeable hitting coach in your corner, along with the skip and Johnny Matthews. What have you been able to take away from those two guys so far this season?
They're very much, they're much a player's coach in the aspect of they know what's going on in our head. They know what we feel and what we think, and when we're sped up, and kind of like how to slow the game down. They've given us a lot of tips and tricks on how to just slow yourself down, keep the approach clean, and kind of just make the game as simple as possible. There's nothing to overthink. You can get all these, these metrics, you can get all this stuff on reports, but at the end of the day, it's the game we grew up playing for a long time.
Thursday afternoon conversation here with Jonathan Vastine prior to first pitch tonight in Cedar Rapids. One final question for you, looking at the rest of this series. 4 games remaining. You guys have dropped the first 2. What's the key for this group to get locked back in and get back to the form we saw a couple of weeks ago, winning a series out in South Bend and then taking a series at home against Cologne?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've continued the good at-bats part. I think we just need to take advantage of the runners in scoring position, and we need to take what they're giving us and, go from there. Keep playing clean defense. Our bullpen and our pitching staff has been doing their job, so as an offense, we just need to execute with runners in scoring position, and I think we'll take the rest here.
John, appreciate your time. Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Lineup's first pitch on the other side of this break right here on the Tin Caps Radio Network.
Podcasts by Federated Media.